Yeah, that should do. I hope you guys can still get me. I hope you guys can still hear me. If you have a problem with maybe my network or your network, you make sure unasema mapema usikuwa unasikiza sauti ikiwa mbaya. Okay, last time, for those who were there, I introduced network and I was comparing with the mailing service. Mailing service here is a barua za kitambo hizo. You write a letter, you put it in an envelope, then you send it to someone, then it take maybe 2 months, 1 month or 3 months depending on the destination. Then itamfikia. If he or she have a reply, they'll do the same things. I was comparing that with what we call a computer network, and it's still the same concept. The only difference is the technology. In mail you have those envelopes. In computer networks we also have those envelopes in form of what we call packets. In mailing services, there are rules on how what you can send and what you cannot send. For example, you cannot mail something illegal like a drug or illegal firearms or anything illegal to someone, because there are rules. So again, also in computer networks we have rules. These rules we call them protocols. On Monday session we shall look at a few of these protocols, the rules that govern computer networking. They usually vary from the lowest level, that is simplest network, higher the hierarchy. So if I just introduce network again, we defined computer network, and I'm saying computer network, not network or communication network. It's a computer network. Is defined as the connectivity of 2 or more devices together for the purpose of resource sharing and also what we call information sharing. Resources include things like printers. Maybe you're consuming the same storage, that is if you have a server in your network, those kind of resources. And also something to note still on that definition of computer network, we still have something else we call networking. We have networking and network. The same idea, concept kidogo ina vary, but just don't get confused with that concept of computer networking and computer network. But I know you'll get it as we move along. Anyway, that's the definition of a network. There are a few benefits that came with this network. We also have a few examples, and I'll love to engage some of you. So can any of you give me an example of a network? The one you know, just simple things. Anyone? Just mention anything with your mic on. Let me point to someone I know. Bernard, I know you're in a good position. I know Kyle and Sharon cannot speak on the mic, but you can. Bernard, if you may, please.
One.
You'll give me an example of one.
LAN.
LAN. Okay. You have more? And it's
one. Is for now.
Okay, so we also have the internet. It's also an example of a network. Actually, it's the largest network we know that there is. And this concept of networks or computer networks, they came in around 1961. I'm not so good with history. It's not something important, but something worth knowing. Around 1961 with those guys at MIT lab and the Bell's lab. Give me a second. I was saying those guys at MIT lab and the other one's called Bell's lab. Yeah, that is before people like Akina Steve Jobs with Apple came in around 1970s, thereabout. But anyway, if you have an interest in the history, you can go and read. It won't help in our course so much, but it's worth knowing. Then I think I'll move on to benefits of network. This is something all over each one of us knows. Benefits. Kyla and Sharon, you can just message any benefit of a network you people know. I'll give you the most common one. We have this thing of information sharing. Anyone? Steve? Haya, nyi watu mjui benefit ya network bwana, na mnatumia kila siku. I know someone will talk of the world being a very small village because of computer networks. There is that benefit to business. Business are really benefiting from this thing, by the way. You have seen e-commerce systems. That year of Corona, people moved away from this, the physical way. Most people are going to sell their things over the internet. Those are some of the benefits. If you come to think like schools, people are learning over the internet. A good example is us. But some few years ago, this was not impossible, but nearly impossible, or very expensive if it was there. And many more. Or communication smart devices, that is from Kyla. Like smartphones, but anyway, if you can explain it in a more way, but actually it lies in that benefits of a network. Okay. Now earlier somebody mentioned about somebody mentioned about LAN 1 and MAN. Also in one of your entry exams, I think the first group, there are around 3 groups. The first group kufanya data entry test, that is from 1 to around 5. There's a question about classification of network, and almost everyone failed. It was a 2 mark. I'll explain why, because he thought it was hard. Classification of network or categories of network, it's based on geographical location or geographical distance between devices or between nodes. If they are very far away from each other, that is a different type of or a different classification of network. If they are so close to each other, that is again is a very different type of computer network. They are not classified according to technology or according to their transmission media, no, as one suggested. They are classified based on that geographical distance. Then if you talk about geographical distance, actually you can classify it in 2 ways. The first way is what we call main classification of computer networks, where you talk of a local area network. I think I can use a whiteboard for that. We talk of a local area network or a LAN. I think this thing is there. Local area network. That is the simplest, smallest classification of a network. Then you have another one we call a MAN. Then from the name you can just tell what it entails. These are name. Then we have what we call a WAN. Again, from the name you can easily tell what classification it is. Then under LAN and MAN and WAN, we have some other subcategories, because I saw people talking about a personal area network under LAN, which was true. But anyway, let me start by talking about this LAN first. Then I'll get to explain to you about a personal area network. A LAN, as we have said, for local area network, these are computers connected together in a very small geographical area, Actually, if you're to define it in terms of distance, that is something less than 100 meters. That can be in a building, can be within a room, also between buildings, as long as those buildings are not very far away from each other. That small network, we call it a local area network, a very simple network. Connectivity of that network is what we are doing for this week. Actually, I think we shall do it on Monday while talking about internet. Anyway, so LAN, this one covers a very small geographical area, and in LAN we have two types or two subcategories. We have those that are wired or connected via physical means. The transmission media is a cable. Then there are those that we connect them wirelessly. We have a few technology like when you talk of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, they fall under a wireless local area network. Or if you can classify it now in terms of distance, they fall under what we call a personal area network. Personal area network, your network is on devices between 1 to 10 meters. Like Bluetooth in operate within that range. That is one is a personal area network. But a Wi-Fi, I know most of you will want to argue with me, but a Wi-Fi is not under personal area network. Why? Because nowadays we have very powerful access points and very powerful routers that can operate to a distance more than 10 meters. Actually, what I'm using right now here can operate up to 50 meters, and it's just Wi-Fi. So 50 meters is away from that span of a personal area network. So under personal area network, we only have Bluetooth as the wireless type of LAN there. Then if you have computers on a desk, something less than 10 meters, it will still fall under personal area network. Anyway, under LAN, we are seeing characteristics of small geographical area. Then the connectivity of these local area network devices is usually very simple. Actually, if I can just draw the way I like drawing laptops. Yep, that is a cable connecting 1 to 2. That is a LAN. Why? Small geographical area, simple connection, nothing in between here, nothing complicated. Even the transmission and communication itself, it's very, very simple. If this is my computer and this is my friend's computer, it's very easy for me, and again unnecessary, to get what we call authentication, ruhusa. Then the rules governing this small network, again, see, they're not very complicated protocols. I can operate on this small network with something like HTTP, non-secure, but it will operate. But if I go over the internet, I cannot operate with HTTP. So local area network, again, they are very simple, very small. Tukifika kwa configuration, they are very easy to configure. That one we shall do it in practical anyway, not in theory. Theory is only today and Monday, then from there tunasonga kwa ingine. I think that is okay for LAN. If there is a question but still kuna notes, if you want to check something else more, you can go and check. But for now, that's what I can mention. That is the main point there. Then under MAN or Metropolitan Area Network, this one is not that big, but it's big enough. Actually, from the name, Metropolitan Area Network covers a metropolitan, any network that can cover a size similar to a metropolitan city. That kind of a network is called a metropolitan area network. That means your network can cover a city, or a metropolitan area, that is. So that one can be again between buildings, and this building can maybe very far away from each other. It can be between countries, it can be between cities. So that is an example of a metropolitan area network. I'll give you a very good example of that. You people know how banks operate. We have bank branch in, let's say, Nairobi, another bank branch in Nakuru, another bank branch in Eldoret, Mombasa. All these branches, they get connected together to form a network before they join their big network into the internet. Now that small network is what we call a MAN for banks or circles. That's why if you walk to any bank, if you check on top or around that building, you'll see a very big satellite plate. If you miss a satellite plate, you'll see a very big cell tower. How do we call them in the linesman way? Booster. Yeah, you people call them boosters. You'll see boosters, and on top of the boosters you'll see things like dish. Yeah, you'll find them on banks. That is just for connectivity. We shall be looking at some of those things and what they do. You can you'll configure a few of them, because again we need to know before we jump to the next. So metropolitan area network, this one covers an area bigger like a city. That's something you need to know. Then the devices here are more complex kiasi, because you'll find things like bridges, you'll find routers, you'll find even antennas. Antennas are usually used in a metropolitan area network. Actually, if you want to connect two LANs together so that they form a MAN, the best way to connect them, and the best cheapest, is via what we call antennas. Watu tunazitanga bima ama beam. But anyway, the antennas, just like the TV area, they connect two stations together. Again, we shall still do that, but for now just know a MAN covers a city-like area. And we have given yourself an example of bank connecting their branches. You can have schools connecting with other schools, institutions of higher learning, like universities, or even colleges. You can find college A having a main campus, a branch here, a branch there, but they are working the same way. When there's graduation, everything runs smoothly. Why? Because they are connected together. The type of the category of network they're operating is what we call a metropolitan area network. Now this last one or a wide area network. Now this network covers a very wide area, and if you may ask me how wide is wide, I'll tell you wide, bigger than a city. Bigger than a city. That one is a WAN, or a wide area network, mostly among continents. Africa, connecting Africa the same way. The way we are connected, Africa is connected to Europe, Africa is connected to Asia. We call it a WAN. That type of network is called a WAN. And a good example here of a WAN is the internet. Internet is a very good example of WAN. We said in LAN we have wired and wireless. In MAN we also have those that are wired together. That is, if I connect one LAN to the other via a cable. We can also have wireless in MAN. We have talked about BMAS. But if I come to a wide area network, we don't have wireless communication in a wide area network. But I know that's the concept I used to know, and most of you that's what you know. Internet inakuanga wireless. It is not wireless. Ile ikifika at some point it becomes wireless. That is, ikikukaribia wewe it becomes wireless. But the bigger side, actually 85% of the internet, it is wired. If you're wondering why or how, please don't miss on Monday. We shall be talking about internet and protocols. But internet is wired. And that's actually what forms WAN. That's just one and the only example under WAN. Tungekuwa na different planets, maybe we could talk of another planet, but on this planet we have the internet. Oh, there's another one coming up, though people are not buying it. If you follow closely this news of technology, Elon Musk, that SpaceX guy, is designing what he is calling a private internet. That is internet that operates via satellite. That is, if I can just draw, this is the Earth surface, this is person A here, this is person B here, then the satellite is above us, of course, somewhere there. So if person A wants to make communication with this other person, communication goes from this person to the satellite, then from the satellite to this person, to what we call uplink and downlink. but that one is for the upcoming. If people will accept it and adopt it, well and good. What you need to do to, or if you want to install this kind of of internet, you were saying you need what we call a small satellite on top of your house, so that it can act as the receiver. If this one is your house, you have your satellite here. Hiyo ndio ina receive na hiyo ndio ina send. So anytime you make communication, it comes here, inakuwa boosted, inatuma. How far is that satellite? It's around 22,000 miles above the earth's surface. If you're a history guy, you know that. If you like following research, you can confirm. It's around, not exact, but around 22,000 miles from the earth's surface to where the satellite is. Anyway, that one is wide area network. There are other classification and categories of computer networks, but these three form the main classification of a computer network. And anytime someone will wake you and ask you about types or categories or classification of a network, feel free to give them those three as the main classification. The rest are like we have talked over PAN, we have talked about wired network and wireless network. They usually fall under any of those three. Before I move on, I think in 5 minutes time I'm going to give you a break of a minute. You can log out and come in, or you can just stay. 2 minutes is not long. Then if you come back to taendelea, but that is in 5 minutes. In those 5, I want to talk briefly about what we call network topology. I just give you a list of them, then tukikuja back na explain with something else more. Then tuendelee from there. Let me undo this. Okay, now that was for classification of network. I want to move to network topology. I'm going to move to network topology. Meeting inaisha juu nilikuwa nimeweka break after 40 minutes. I think, yeah, after 40 minutes nilikuwa nimeweka tukue na break kidogo, wakunywa maji wakunywe. Network topology, allow me to explain in a layman's language. Network topology is the arrangement. Let me talk about topology as arrangement, because actually it is arrangement. Arrangement of devices or nodes in a network. That arrangement is what we call topology. So ukizipanga hivi, that arrangement we call it a topology. Let me write the name here mzuri, topology. And feel free to say if I'm not audible, ama kuna jina na shema sana uipate, it's acceptable. There's someone told me na shema in all languages. Network topology, I was saying it's the arrangement of devices in a network, and that arrangement can be random. I can do like this, I do like this. These are devices then you connect to here. That arrangement, that is what I'm calling a topology. In topology, we describe various arrangement of how you can arrange devices in a network, and this arrangement is very, very key depending on the security of that network, depending with the number of devices on that network, and also how you may want to connect. How far are they from each other will describe the kind of connectivity unataka. So we are going to we say tutakuwa na project kwa hii course. It is very, very important that you understand topology, because without topology you can't design any network if you don't know anything about topology. So you need to understand topology. Before my time runs out, I'll talk from the most common one. We call mesh topology. The one I'm drawing, these are devices, 4 of them. In mesh topology, mesh written like this, just like wire mesh. in mesh topology, each device is connected to the remaining device. So if you pull one, computer 4 is connected to 1, is connected to 2, is connected to 3, 3 is connected to 2 and 1 and 4, 1 is connected to 2, 3 and 4, then 2 again the same way. So this kind of connection is what we call mesh. And in mesh topology, this one is usually wireless, or it's consumed by what we call those smart devices. They're those that can do this, because if you talk about computers again, you'll find a few things not agreeing with this type of topology. Like if I have 4 laptops, I will never connect them this way, because one machine comes with only one port for Ethernet or for network connectivity. So ukijaribu kuconnect ya tatu, it won't. So mesh topology only works for wireless and smart devices. And this topology, like the name suggests, looks mesh kind of a manner, and very expensive. Imagine if I add device 5 here, I'll have to connect every station to 5, and that is very expensive in terms of the cable. I'll compare this with the rest, that is Kinastar, after this break. So please, you can take a cup of water. If you're writing something, you can stretch your finger, then it will shut it down. Please log back after exactly a minute or 2 minutes. I shall give 3 minutes ya kuadjust watu waingie tena. We continue from topology.